Well, hello. Welcome to the very first episode of Visual Novel Book Club. Today we are playing Of the Devil, episode 0 and maybe episode 1. Love a warning of this is a work of fiction. Let's start a new case. Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambiance. Emphasis on sleep. Lights, camera, and constant noise. The city's got insomnia with the uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the secondhand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Okay, I can see why people are interjecting of the devil characters. Because this description is just of a New Yorker. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail. Hi, Morgan of the Devil. It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether it's incandescent or neon or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen, there's light shining on every last pixel of the map. Damn, that's a fucking beat. That's a line. That's good shit. I already love the writing in this game. And someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity. Anonymity is scarce. And criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Not that there's much else I can do until my phone. Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. You are expected at the 200... Sorry. Sorry, that's such a high number. How fucking big is this city? Oh, that's such a high fucking number. Like, to be clear, like, again, as someone who grew up in New York and spent a lot of time in the city, the precinct that was used for the outside shots of Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Brooklyn Nine-Nine was actually the 76th precinct. There's like maybe 120-ish in New York City. 254 is absurd. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. Yeah, what are you, my doctor? Sorry, I wasn't expecting the heart emoji. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15 now. 90 minutes since I took the job. Probably makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. Okay. When Chapter 2 and future chapters drop, we are playing this game on Shut the Fuck Up Friday. And every Friday is Shut the Fuck Up Friday. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are going to get busy. Also, yeah, Monorail, this game is incredibly stylish and gorgeous. Of the Devil, Episode 0. And he shall appear. Ooh! Ooh! Disable tutorials. You can turn them back on in settings. I'm going to enable tutorials because, fun fact, I've never played an Ace Attorney. That was kind of... Honestly, a lot of the games I ever played in handheld were Pokemon. Like, it's why I still have a 3DS, because I still have Pokemon on other games. So I've never actually played an Ace Attorney. So, pardon. I'm gonna keep the tutorials on, if you don't mind. Also, I hope everyone likes the logo in the lower right, made by artist for the channel, Leos. Oh, jeez. Suspect not found. The screen is broken, and nobody's around. Cool! Precinct 254. It's a goddamn ghost town. Nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. Okay, let's see. So it said, suspect not found. We got the broken screen, the glitchy holo, and we got a pad on the right. I'm here about a homicide. High clearance rates be damned. You'd think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. But whatever. If I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. Let's see if I can't poke around and shake some chains loose. Press the phone button or tap the phone icon in the top left to access the pause menu. You can toggle on auto-advancing text with the auto button or check previous lines with the backlog button. Look around for points of interest you can check to investigate the area. You'll earn credit for investigating anything and everything you can. Credit is both a measure of your information gathering skills and your own credibility. So don't go broke. Aw, that's a cute card. That's adorable. Okay, let's see. Inspect this table. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishing, multiple screening stations. Pragmatic brutalism so textbook it could teach freshman level architecture. God. Yeah, just like freshman level architecture and just a unit on Le Corbusier, and it's just this. You can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. Yeah, Le Corbusier! The civil planning equivalents of battle scars. From a fight one song so long ago that they're starting to look ridiculous. Sure, it was all very imposing back when it was built. But walking in here now with crime rates where they are, feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. Ooh, that's good shit. Okay. A data pad. I'll buy it. Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout corporate propaganda sort of way. Yeah. Yeah. Keep an eye out for articles in the environment. They offer insight on the world around you and credit towards your investigation. Articles are added to your phone's reading list after you first read them. Yeah, that's about how I operate too. Choose the proper takeaway after reading them and you'll earn additional bonus credit too. Oh, this game tests your reading comprehension! Let's go! Subway fixes axed city to refocus on canopy. Declaring the subway tunnels to be irreparably flooded, city engineers announced this week that all plans to drain and repair the system were being suspended indefinitely. Saltwater damage to sensitive electronic cabling and erosion of key tunnel structures, key tunnel fixtures were cited as reasons why 89% of the subway system was evaluated as critically compromised or worse. Civil engineering efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system that weaves together trams, highways, walkways, and skyscrapers into the canopy high above our city streets. Reaction to the announcements could be characterized as blasé. It's been years since the subways last ran and decades since they last ran on schedule. Most citizens have long since given up hope on them ever making a comeback. Online chatter barely reacted to the announcement, with most commenters and voters' attention focused instead on the growing investigations into Councilman Long's campaign finance irregularities. As one of the canopy's major backers in City Hall, Long has often found himself at odds with a small but vocal group of critics that consider it to be an eyesore and an amplifier of light and noise pollution. And with Long having stepped away from his political duties in order to more fully cooperate with investigators, for the first time in nearly 20 years, the typically rock-steady political foundation of the canopy was looking uncharacteristically shaky going into this week. But with the subways officially no longer an option, people and corporations alike have little choice for how they complete their morning commute. However, not all reactions to the news have been negative. At least a few bold individuals see this latest report as vindication, and possibly even a rallying cry. Already considered by many to be a rising star in infrastructure solutions abroad, tech startup Subterra made headlines last year with a radical proposal for a submarine taxi pods. Oh my god. Hey, how old is Of the Devil? Just real quick. Because that is too absolutely on the nose. Like, Jesus fuck. Yeah, okay. That could make use of the flooded subway tunnels, but momentum stalled when their first prototype for the city came in at a disappointing 3,359% over budget. NYC! The one council member was quoted as calling their system mind-bogglingly wasteful and impractical to the extreme. In light of the latest announcement, Subterra has proudly declared their intent to resubmit their proposal package. Across the entire globe, coastal cities like ours have struggled to find civil engineering answers to rising sea levels and subterranean flooding that satisfy financial, practical, and aesthetical concerns. Historically, most scientists have attributed this increase in sea level to climate change, though there are dissenting voices. Oh. Water rises and falls all the time for reasons we do not fully understand. Are we to? Thank God it cuts me off with the fucking paywall. Ballsy of them putting the paywall there. As if I'd reach for my wallet after reading a word like aesthetical. Besides, I got the gist of it. The takeaway is that the city will be focusing its efforts on the canopy. There will be increased scrutiny surrounding the canopy now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. A tides go in, tides go out reference? I don't follow. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment, not when Councilman Long's already thoroughly chummed the waters. Oh cool, we're getting like shark puns. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. The museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. This homicide department's more like an attic. Hard to believe they were ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. Then again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, more memory formation is blah, blah, blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel, and all during billable hours. I mean, to be fair, Bill O'Reilly is a fucking idiot. But there's no room to sow doubt anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. Alright, anything else? Nope, doesn't look like it. The medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff, and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. Could probably null the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. There's a few missing persons, too. 1 year of silver plan coverage courtesy of Caduceus as a reward for any... Silver's no joke. Family must be getting desperate. Alright. Taking in all the scenery and learned as much as I can here. Time to get checked in. Booted up fine. So far, so good. Good morning! Morgan here for the public defender contract. Could you please provide your name and... Great! Please stand still for a moment. Won't call Intake Hollows charming, more like harmless. But that's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their tech as long as it never speaks out of turn. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth? So far, so good, was it? I'm gonna hit quick save real quick. If that worked, I think it worked. Let's just save super duper quick. Let's say just scan my face. Didn't you scan my face as soon as I walked in here? Yes. So don't you already know who I am? Yes. So the only reason you're asking is to see if I'll lie? Impersonating an officer of the court is a felony. Thank you for remaining vigilant. Say, why don't you just scan my ID card? Great! Now could you just confirm your date of birth for me? Why do they even bother asking? My birthday's on the damn ID card and my profile. Well, we're checking your profile real quick since I'm not you. December 26th. Ooh, that's fun. Puzzles, smoking wooden furniture, commercials. Can fall asleep in any position. I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this wrong. No problem, my birthday is December 26th. Perfect! Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to counseling quarter 3C. Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room? I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Don't sweat it. Can't keep track of every new euphemism either. They could call it the involuntary wellness check room if they like, or they could call it the break room. If doesn't change the way it makes a person feel sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection dully warped across gunmetal walls. Morgan counselor, can I help you with anything else? Choices that progress the story forward will cause other options to shrink away when selected. Choices that will take the conversation down side paths and before returning to this point will not. Because the article you read earlier, you unlocked an additional choice in this dialogue. Read and examine at every opportunity to build your knowledge and get the most out of every conversation. I know the city is not terribly concerned with the low rewards, but this is a police station. Why is it so goddamn dusty? This facility is currently undergoing renovations. Since when? The 60s? It has been 22 months since the last timetable was last updated. They really don't see a lot of action down here, do they? I'm sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered. I'm sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered. I'm adaptable. What about you? They ever gonna fix that crack? Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work. Well, that's all that matters, right? What are you? I'm a smart user interface, proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I could send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Should I send you a link with information about our subscription packages? No. Sorry. That was a mean question to ask. That'll be all, thank you. You will find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to your right. Thanks. But I think it's just me for now, so you could go on break if you like. Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan Counselor. Then what were you doing before I walked in? You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to the right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. It's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway. Eyes gone bad or something? A voice. No, voices coming from down the hall. Compared to yours? Probably. Thank God I stopped for directions. The building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly lower energy. Appreciate you worrying about me. God forbid I try and be serious. While the other rings with youthful indignation. It's not like our job is important or anything. Definitely cops. At this precinct, at this hour, might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex. Sorry. At this precinct, at this hour, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely in this precinct. Because why else would you bother to print all that out? One document or 100? Looks the same on a data pad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their big brother? I wasn't gonna say that. So how many of those sheets were blank then? Oh, sick. One of them has an eye patch. Yeah, this is definitely... Yeah, no, I see why systems get really insane about this game. Oh, hello. Terms. Main dependent. Referred to as add or adds. The catch-all term encompassing robots, intelligent programs, interactive holograms, androids, present both digitally and physically in every industry. Mid-21st century, lobbyists pushed through new tax classifications to define intelligence machine that were neither salaried employees nor mere equipment because they afforded tax breaks and lighter tariffs that can be spread to all branches of the robotic industry. Its popularity not ability to draw a distinction between commonplace and the internationally illegal artificial intelligences. Searching for this term may incur an account flag. Cool. Cool. No red carpet tonight, officers. Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. Alright, Astrid, I do actually know, like, a bunch of people who have played this, and at least one, maybe two, have gotten a head made out of this. So, you know. Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra hands around at these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway. But mostly cheaper. You the lawyer? I am! Morgan Esquire. Pleased to meet you. Same here, counselor. Kasim London. And the ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farah Reyes. Ball of sunshine? She certainly is. Huh? Sorry if you were kept waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night. It's no trouble. Gave me time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? She can't be more than a few years younger than me. Ahem! We're the detectives in charge of this particular case. Oh no, I got this from... I picked this up from Circuits. Who has a headmate from this, so, you know. We're the detectives in charge of this particular case. And it looks like tonight we're also your humble guides into the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. Never struck me as more than just some old-timer. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe? 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene. No, we're not nearly that timely. Uniforms responded to the emergency calls within a few minutes. Calls, plural. Must have been quite the commotion. Look around. You think we're the first to arrive for anything? She's not wrong. We're only tapped after circumstances at the scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation. Our ongoing investigation. Not very subtle, is she? I might as well bite at this point. So you suspect that this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity? Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy. A fair warning, yeah? That's the heartbreak killer in that room. Got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm onto some other night owl and go back to bed. I'm not feeling particularly smart or kind at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer. They cover utilities at the rock you live under? Is there a problem? You're seriously not familiar with HK. Never heard of him. Heard enough of him for a lifetime. Name has been plastered all over the city for weeks. Their crimes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. At street corners, in the media, on the net. Everyone's indulging in the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. When it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. Take it he's a repeat offender? Was it the killer part that tipped you off? You must have at least heard about his MO. Media's gone crazy with it, along with everyone else. One bullet straight to through the heart, body left to die where it falls. Hence the name Heartbreak. Not exactly creative, but I miss the swirl of every other 100-word article out there. Catchiness trumps originality. What you won't read online is that all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun without even needing to reload. Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? It's pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great, but shooting 6 people with accuracy like that, it's a whole different beast. It takes a certain kind of monster, a real freak. His pulse probably didn't even rise. I see. Sounds robotic. You almost make him sound like a machine. It's possible that... No, it is not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madame. Of course, my mistake. So all those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling in police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky. I guess they're all firing blanks. Fair enough. Machines can kill. They have been for decades. But they don't commit murder. Right? Evil like Heartbreak is all organic. That's a pretty terrifying thought. Should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to mix 6 murders. Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? You're still not getting it? HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago, when we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is this heartbreak killer, and tonight was just his latest crime. That's a serious accusation, with very serious consequences. Take it you have serious evidence to back that up? I was being literal, counselor. Red-handed. When we found your client, he was covered in her blood. Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling. that lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders? It's all there in the discovery files, and the ARCs, of course. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. I'll bet. Thanks for that, Detective. I'll be sure to read it over. Well, if it's all the same, could I ask you two some questions while I've got you here? The hell kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant. Come on, sunshine. Not like we're gonna be punching out anytime soon, right? Whatever. Let your client stew in interrogation all night, for all I care. You mean the counseling quarters? We're at your disposal, counselor. Okay, let's see here. We got... Inspect. Barren, stark, and uninviting. This must be Reyes' desk. Keeping a workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mote of personalization. Is she so new she hasn't had time to unpack? Or is she really that uptight and boring? Both, maybe. Shouldn't have cleaned up just so much just for little old me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system, or even just a staple. Paper documents scattered about lazily, alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. And he doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better in paper, I'll give him that. Loose wires, missing panels, an aircon system that probably sweats more than the people it's supposed to cool. No room in the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? Expect to find a lot of belt tightening at Homicide. I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. Got a stunning clearance rate and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. If their job is easier, what with our dear doting surveillance state eliminating so much of the footwork. If your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. Homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. Dumping ground for the police force's most unambitious and least popular. Ooh. Latest Noble androids receive warm welcome. Bolstered by a strong earnings report and surging sales of the Animate 16, Noble Electronics' stock rose a stunning 3% this week to a new record high. While Noble's latest iteration has yet to surpass the sheer popularity of its predecessors, an increased profit margin has left Noble's shareholders very enthused. Many investors were skeptical when, at their now infamous 2084 trade convention, Noble announced that the 16th line would be the first generation of androids to feature over 50% organic components. So-called warm androids, which at the time only saw demand in the health, senior, and childcare sectors, were looked down upon as impractical due to increased maintenance costs, cuts, scratches, bruises, and the like. And while some critics voiced concerns that fringe religious or traditionalist groups might find warm androids controversial, more business-focused minds feared that Noble was alienating its customers in the industrial and military sectors in order to cater to civilian customers, users that viewed their androids from across the room and not from above the factory floor. Oh, hold on. However, as has often been wrong in the been the case in the last decade, Noble's doubters were proven wrong. The Animate 16 is poised to break profitability records with no signs of slowing down, and many industry analysts predict that these once rare organic androids will completely replace their more robotic predecessors in daily life within the next 3 to 5 years. As described in the earnings report, much of the 16th line success, and indeed the success of Noble's androids in general, can be attributed to their remarkable lifelike, personable charm of their products. And by all accounts, that charm can be attributed to the work of Noble's famed lead programmer, Dr. David Asher. Lead programmer is the understatement of the century, said Noble brand ambassador Lucy Dees on stage at their latest Noble Industry Weekend. It's because of his Turing solution that every Noble product, from the sleekest assistants to the most advanced intensive care technicians, are so beloved and trusted by our customers. While his reputation was on full display at the event, Dr. Asher was nowhere to be seen. He's always been reclusive, but he's become a genuine hermit in recent years. Are we really expected? Hey fam. God, I hate that. Fuck you. Don't anthropomorphize your fucking paywall. Ugh. Hi, Shrike Club. He's in the news again. It's no wonder. Can't spit without landing on a piece of Noble tech these days. Especially not where the state's involved. I don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids, though. For government use, they're just too frail. All androids undergo wear and tear, especially if they're directing traffic or suppressing crowds. So if these warm androids bleed pink all over themselves every time they take a rock to the cheek, there's an endless stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen. Okay, nothing else jumps out at me around here. Got a better idea of who I'm dealing with, at least. I need to check out the crime scene data. Should have been sent a link. You've been granted access to state files regarding case KL433511. Reply C to confirm. You need to reply C in order to confirm. Am I talking to a person? I'm an automated dependent. Ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. It's case sensitive. God, I love that this ad is a little bit of a prick. How do I screenshot in Steam? Is it F2? I don't use Steam ever. Oh, F12. There we go. I heard it. Thank you. Link Yuxi 4335511. Alright, if I project from my phone... I do love the amount of work that has gone into making these UIs. Alright, that's the gun, that's that. Alright, let's see what the police have and what they think is important. Victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma, class 4 blood loss, atrium and aorta. Single gunshot wound to the heart. In brief, death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under her nails. Blood splatter forensics and all the other good stuff tells them that she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. Murder weapon, a revolver found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. It's like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing. All they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So he's found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. Stand-up mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras here. It's hit hard. Enough to come unattached from its arm while shards of glass were scattered far enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. Seems like this vase got tossed aside at some point. Yet there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. It's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. No signs of forced entry only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. Just a lounge chair that got thrown and... whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris? Flag as irrelevant? That's their technical assessment? Because even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay. That's everything that the police highlighted. But did I miss anything? The hell is that? Something in the victim's hand? How the hell did... It's just a pill organizer. Oh, that's a cute pill organizer. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I guess. Looks like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and tripexosone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medication. Taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. The autopsy said her tox screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and still wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is all very incriminating, but the kicker is everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs. Nothing that points towards anyone except my client. Well, I've done more with less before. Not much more. I'm really gonna have to sing for my supper this time. Better get start. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? First person who comes to mind is, I suppose it could be something important. Red! What couldn't wait until morning? Good news, of course. Got a job for you. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me that you violated parole. Well, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and phishing scheme. God. Yeah, game full of insane women. I need you to sue my gym teacher. So, like, okay, I'm an American who went to school between the years of 1993 and 2007. This doesn't sound improbable. Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. Hey, let me at least finish. What did they do? Made me run laps. Not illegal. Let me finish! They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomachache. Said. Gotta be like youth endangerment. Depraved indifference or some kind of shit. Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow-off? Nice phrasing. Oh, wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. See? Is that your mugshot? I wasn't not gonna get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK? Is that the kind of morbid thing kids your age talk about? Teens my age. And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines. Old-fashioned murders like Cardi B is, like, quaint. It's not heartbreak. And why'd you take the job? Lol. See the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? Oh, I love this game! Taking up lost cause, probe nose work. It's pro bono. That was autocorrect. You know they give lit homework for a reason, right? This is borderline concerned nagging. God, I love this game! Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker. Not a sucker. Nice phrasing, lol. Should go to bed, Fran. Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stay up if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday. What's with the Carpe Diem shit? It's nearly 4 a.m., kid. Got school in 3 hours. Shit. Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure. Important text message, I take it? Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Hold on. I want to check out some of this shit. Heartbreak. Criminal likes killing, dislikes getting caught. Reward suspended due to influx of force reports. May 5th. Photography, dive bars, bangs, ties, pollen, after hours work messages, listens to podcasts. Yeah, you all are an old white guy, huh? Hobby, pencil sketching, frequently running late. Detective third class, likes rice, limes, and automotive history. Dislikes liars, small plates, and cheap people. Enjoys watching product reviews. Bad at games of chance. Right eye. OS Iris Elite 86. Interesting. Articles. This is the one I already read. And then hit the paywall. I love that articles in this game have fucking paywalls. Could say it's really an immersive game. Alright, evidence. We got ARCS data, augmented reality crime scene data from the victim's apartment, lossless captured from the rents the following. Victim was shot in the room's doorway, no unexpected DNA present, no unexpected crumbs present, no unexpected fingerprints present, no evidence of digital tampering. Autopsy report, time of death 9 p.m., ballistic trauma class for blood loss. Single bullet pierced the subject's sternum, left atrium, and aorta. Death was instantaneous. There's some handwriting at the bottom of the scan document. Same handiwork as pre-5 lab message to confirm ballistics match 2. Debris. Ceramic debris of indeterminate origin found at the crime scene. Found on the far side of the room by the western window. Technician's note, flag as irrelevant on next pass. Glass shards. Pieces of glass from broken standing mirror found at the crime scene. Said mirror was a low-tech furnishing with no digital components to pull data from. Hit with enough force to scatter shards of glass onto the victim's body. Pill organizer. Common brand of pill organizer. Contains a number of prescription over-the-counter medications. The case's clasps are surprisingly difficult to open. Ooh. Ooh. I think that's a hint. Oh, prescribed to reduce moderate to severe discomfort arising from mod sensitivity complications. Interesting. Revolver, 6-chamber, 10mm, well-maintained old, has Flat's left-hand fingerprints on it. Vase. Terms. Conductive resin, even though outwardly resembles plastic or glass, conductive resin is actually an electromagnetic polymer used in a wide variety of stationary or portable devices, where its unique properties allow for it to act as both a display and a processor, enabling ultra-thin or even transparent electronics. There are upwards of 100 different patented varieties of conductive resin, each intended for different use cases, industries, and environments, but they are all fairly lightweight and fragile except for the small handful formulated for military and security applications. Because of its widespread use in high turnover products such as datapads and smartphones, producers of conductive resin are frequently accused of engineered obsolescence by consumer rights groups, though these claims have never been proven before a court. So that actually reminds me, fun fact, transparent aluminum, as referenced in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, is a real thing that actually exists. It's technically a ceramic, but it's a transparent ceramic. And it does have aluminum in it. ARCs. Augmented reality crime scene is an investigative tool in which data harvested by the sensors worn on first responders is used to reconstruct a digital copy of the pristine crime scene, programmed and distributed by a small number of tech corporations, frequently modified or even personalized by local municipalities. ARCs systems are used by every major police force, most insurance investigators, and many law firms. After its introduction in the early 2060s, the technology briefly came under public scrutiny when the independent news organization United Media Casters released a series of reports claiming that ARC's data was regularly edited by corrupt individuals to erase state secrets. These reports were later found to be fake, and UMC was exposed as a subsidiary of a cell corporation within Lambda Work Solutions, who were marketing a number of alternatives to ARC's technology at the time. Board members at Lambda denounced the actions of said cell and offered assistance to their former competitors in suing leadership at UMC, but the proceedings and settlements in those lawsuits remain sealed. Oh, I'm picking up so much of what this game is putting down, and I fucking love it. Hi, Spade Slick. Datapads. The lightweight portable electronic devices known as datapads have no significant internal storage capabilities and can only display what is streamed to them from local networks. Originally marketed as a replacement for ecologically wasteful newspapers, magazines, and flyers, datapads quickly became infamous for the difficulty and expense involved in recycling them once their limited lifetime components expired. It wasn't until they were rebranded as ideal for privacy and security that datapads found success in the private and public sectors, where their ability to display location-locked data helped corporations minimize data leaks and give their advertisements targeted geographic relevance. Christ. Today, datapads are a mainstay of high-traffic public spaces and virtual physical hybrid workplaces, despite remaining unpopular with most environmentalists and bibliophiles. Yeah, it tracks. Holograms. Enabled by specialized projectors or mediums like conductive resin. Whoop. Holograms are graphic displays that appear three-dimensional to the human eye when viewed from any part of a face range of at least 180 degrees, an effect known as the Watterson illusion phenomenon. Originally patented... I keep accidentally hitting right-click, sorry. Originally marketed as... Nope, that's... We're hologram. They're hologram. Originally patented in late 2059, Waterson's phenomenon was initially used exclusively in the adult entertainment industry. Yeah, that also tracks. Holograms did not become widely adopted as an advertising tool until the much maligned holiday season. Christ. Contrived. Season of 2061, after which laws restricting the presence of holograms in public spaces were cast with uncharacteristically universal support. We're sorry to see that you've installed a subroutine on this device to disable and highlight our recommended premium external links. We understand your drive for personalization, but unauthorized tech impacts our ability to serve you the best, most relevant information possible. Consider disabling your subroutine so we can serve you a more tailored browsing experience. God, this game is too good. IoT, yeah, I know what that means. Internet of Things. Refers to the network data sharing that goes on between all the countless electronics that we monitor ourselves with: phones, computers, security systems, biofeedback devices, body modifications, and prosthetics, and of course automated dependents, all comprise small but vital parts of this network. Without IoT's ability to collect, process, and share information, massive opportunity costs build up as individuals, governments, and private businesses miss out on the valuable insight that data has to offer. Ugh. One of the coolest ways that IoT improves our lives is through the usage of crumbs, small packets of data containing your own unique identifying information throughout your day as your own IoT devices say hi to other devices. They'll leave behind crumbs as a parting gift. Crumbs allow for paperless identification payment. Oh! Interesting. Interesting. So the fact that no crumbs were found is actually fucked up and weird. Interesting. I like that. This game is good. Turns out. I'm gonna hit save real quick. Let's do androids and cops. By the way, couldn't help but notice your light on staff. It's 3 in the morning. Were you expecting a parade? I thought there'd at least be a few androids around. Aren't many androids in any police station this week. Not while the brass is renegotiating contracts. Contracts with Noble? Good guess. Hardly. They're the biggest. Hardly. They're the biggest robotics corp there is. Could spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow. Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here. Save us some money on shipping at least. These talks never last long. Sure, they'll be back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the month. Even with Noble pushing those warm androids? Warm. Ugh. Might as well call it the adult line. Might seem in bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet. Yet? Really? You really think that'll happen? Or use ads for patrolling, securing the scene, pacifying crowds? Doesn't seem like that big a stretch to me. You're joking, right? Android detectives? With all the pain we go through getting witnesses to talk to us? Your warm personality? Can't imagine. Cop knocks on your door, start asking questions, you're gonna be put in a bad mood. Ad knocks on your door, calls you a degenerate criminal and synthesized voice loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear. You're gonna start posting shit that'll get you put on a list. Well, we certainly don't want that. But flesh and blood witnesses are becoming less and less common anyway. Cameras, sensors, satellites. They'll get all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years, it might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. Union would. The police union wouldn't let that happen. She needn't have specified. It's the only real union there is anymore. So how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with? Your client, Carlos Baker Flatt, was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m. Using his middle name already? I really do think he's a serial killer. The charge being the first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Diane Dawn. First degree? That's increasingly rare, to say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. So he's got damn near more cameras than people. So you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. Oh, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what's that make him? 5 times. And that makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But not jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So it makes you think this was premeditated. How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up? 5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles. Nothing. So the serial killer chose his victims at random? They have nothing in common. Yeah, nothing in common at all, other than they all look like cousins. The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes, about the same height, comparable weight. Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be a coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance? Young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take the hint. So, wait, hold on. Backlog. So you think, what, exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first? Hey, if the shoe fits... The shoe fits? Then you put the shoe on the... What Sunshine means is it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence on people, from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. He's probably building up the nerve for tonight by first practicing on these other similar women. Or he's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore. It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's event. But if that were the case, there'd be signs of hesitation, nerves. There'd have been mistakes. On top of which, guns are impersonal. Execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me. Oh, that was sick as fuck! That was sick as fuck! What the fuck was that? That was sick as hell! Let's look at some more terms and stuff before we ask more questions. Digital autopsy. The law enforcement process of locating, bypassing authentication on, and investigating all the deceased individuals' online profiles, commonly used to seek out possible connections to suspects or other victims. The widely utilized practice has been scrutinized in the past by some privacy advocates, but many victims' families who lacked the ability to find, let alone access, all of their deceased loved ones' accounts argue for its necessity. Comparable processes have been offered as a pay service by some legal or funerary services to help next of kin recover or delete personal sensitive data. At times, these services have been marketed as a defense against data criminals attempting to steal the identities of the dead before their accounts were wiped by state processes. Users also frequently search for grave cobbling, how to stop stolen identity, how to delete dead profile. Profile. Flat. July 8th. First degree homicide. Criminal record. Civil disturbance ×2. No charges. Registered at birth. Modifications. Industrial class 4. Known affiliates pending. Psych eval pending. Evidence. Victims. Victim Diane Dawn was a 27-year-old agricultural genetics researcher for Peregrine Laboratories. One shot through the heart in the bedroom of the apartment she shares with crime suspect Carlos Flat. No known connection with previous HK victims. Anything else? Nope. Timeline. So the time of death was 9 p.m. on the autopsy, but do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? Can't trust much what comes out of his mouth. But we've managed thanks to less biased sources. We're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. So they interviewed witnesses? Sounds eerily similar to real police work. The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 p.m. Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us about the happy couple's domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew they'd be fighting for weeks, as you probably gathered from what you saw on the arcs. There was a struggle, furniture toned over, glass shattered, but things go quiet sometime before 9 p.m. And then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp. But we heard enough citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time. Right, emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 p.m. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was, but the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming. Officers arrive on the street at 9:08, establish a perimeter, enter through the open front door at 9:10, and then they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood. At which point they move to secure the scene and the suspect. Sorry, did you say his hand? Singular? Your client's modded, cybernetic right arm. How modded are we talking here? Registered with a HOW 85 habilis, industrial grade looks like. Says he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation up to class 4 kilopascals. Which means a minimum grip strength of, well, basically, he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Considering a career change? No, it's not that. It's just... Your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. Here, I thought you just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. Think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I actually thought the same thing the first time we met. You what? But getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. Can't work without it. Money got tight. The arguing? Yeah. When did he put his arm in for repairs? 8 days before HK's first victim was killed. Well, no chance they'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence. Your client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver and no one else's. A revolver? What kind? The old kind. The real old kind. Old as balls. Fun fact, a local friend of mine has the original Hark a Vagrant page hanging in their kitchen for all of the Great Gatsby comics, including this one. Oh. More specifically, a Calver M54, 6-chambered, 10mm. Calver? How? I know absolutely nothing about the plot of this game beyond what I've already played, but I do have reading comprehension, and also my brain does not stop theorizing. Shrike can tell you how much we have not stopped thinking about Deltarune chapters 3 and 4. But that's just us all the time. Calver, how retro. You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How is that? Just how old are we talking here? Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pull, safeties coded to owner biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some sort of antique to commit these crimes? How else do you think he'd have gotten away with it 5 other times? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he'd probably fail the very first psych check. Even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in. So then M54, that's model year 2054. 30-year-old gun. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it? In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country. Fewer still compatible bullets. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old, too. The novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far. Now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. But with the protocols they found, the texts... Whoop. Backlog. But with the protocols they found, the texts were able to match the rifling marks on all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with. Rifling marks? Bullets fired from guns that old are marked by the barrel shape. I don't want to share any theories until I'm through chapters 0 and 1 because I want all the information that is available to me before I spout shit. That's how my brain works. So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks, we know that they were all fired from by the same gun. It's not as plug-and-play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber. Without even needing to reload. The Calvary your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that. Untagged gun. Just be anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize then, you believe that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, and then he retrieved this weapon and shot her. Yeah, pretty much. How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his affect? Quiet, detached, stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. That reaction may have lost some points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. And so long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. True. Yeah, they're definitely trying to not say the fingerprint of the gun, which is very funny. It's also, like, the thing about there's no right way to grieve makes me think a lot about the first episode of Twin Peaks, where, with, like, the breakdown that... Shit, why can I not remember Laura's mom's name? Mrs. Palmer. Like, the breakdown she has. And yeah, just, like... I don't know. I'm kind of already piecing things together. I'm thinking a lot about this. I'm having a lot of really good thoughts. Heartbreak. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, it's done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. Less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics, trying to piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read. It's not just journalists, though. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out the woodwork in just a few weeks. Can you blame them, though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with... We know what he's gotten away with. Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registries are robust enough that case never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crime at an all-time low and clearance rates at all-time highs. But you gonna spout some alt-poll bullshit about invasion of privacy? No, I'm not. People are safer now than at any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along... Good point. Nunlin's trying to look like he can laugh it off. But pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need to see someone charged, and that makes them predictable. Oh shit! That floor is the Black Lodge! Oh, let's go! Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! Oh! Oh! Sorry, that just got me like so hyped. Whew. Whew. Even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details. That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why is that? Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system. How is that even possible? I know there are some rough areas in the lower wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? You'd think we have let him kill 6 people if we did? I understand your concern, ma'am, but Optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance system signing up to feed into the state security network. It's not perfect, just another one of many public safety tools in our belt. It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to help us solve crimes. At least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Fat chance. Deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it, but it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved. But the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts, and the math used to predict them is not impossible to predict. I see. But those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. I'd have mentioned it if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. This file says he's modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city? HK is only ever struck at times and locations where Optics would be down. Even with the devil's own luck. Can't possibly be coincidence. Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed? Yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. They include the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes. No footage and no forensics? Also no motives, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now. Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics. No matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK's the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set out to do all along. So was my client on the list of suspects before tonight? Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects. Catching some X's, a few CIs. Someone even spoke to one or two enlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing they have, the only thing they could have, to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA's the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly gonna have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk. Well, that's, unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me that he wrote a confession? Has it been verified? Not yet. We have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of that line. Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints. There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you. It doesn't exactly make for light reading. I managed somehow. Need to see this confession for myself. Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of it to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to at first, but I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough, I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. That was difficult to read. Barely legible, in fact. Well, got a spin on that? No need. But it's a confession. Not a confession that he signed, though, is it? Not yet. Not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer and got you. Guess you're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he? Look, counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in handcuffs isn't cruel or unusual. That's for your safety as well. It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger. He's killed 6 women. None of them were redheads. Seriously, though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. Camera's off, if you don't mind. Mic's on or off is your call, counselor, but we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuffs? The cuff, that is, stays on. That worried about me? How chivalrous. Yeah, my armor's practically blinding. Gross. Start the unlock cycle. Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I'd suggest you help him sign that confession. Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show, detective. I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing, but he also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime if there ever was one. Even if the death penalty is not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not going to like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's being challenged before the Supreme Court. Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember. plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from, well, it's probably a win for your client, right? Prison sentences are generally lighter on those who plead guilty. That much is true. It saves the courts a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards the heartbreak killer. Anyone convicted for killing 6 people. They'll never rest their mind another day in their life. Oh no, he's hot. It's depressing as hell in here. I think it so I think with Morgan trying to seem less cynical, I think that's part of like kind of coming across as like a little bit of an airhead in order for people to underestimate her. It's depressing as hell in here. We need to liven this place up. Carlos flat, right? Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We've got a lot to cover, but this shouldn't take all night. What are you? Look, I already told you people I'm not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. Your lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you. Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there, in here, kept repeating it the whole ride over. They said they were going to help me, that they knew this was all a mistake. And they said that I killed, acting like they were on my side, and they thought that I could have... It's not their job to help you, Carlos. But it is mine, and I'm here now. He's still in shock. Need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions. The police already questioned you, I'm sure, but they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client. Okay. So what do you want to know? I'm gonna see what terms I got. Evidence. Okay, neat. Revolver, caliber, there's fingerprints. With 99.91%. Ah, it's not 5.9s though. This isn't 5.9s either. This is close to 5.9s. No matches to any other archived forensic data as far back as 2051. That's fascinating. Let's note. Flat's coat. Coat the suspect was wearing when he was taken into custody, taken by lab techs for additional analysis. But initial tests show blood on the left sleeve matches that of the victim. Okay. Terms. Hey there, due to the ongoing controversy following the suspected suicide of inmate Jay Galay, search results for this term are temporarily blocked. Fascinating. Optics. Opt-in crime surveillance system is part of the program between the same partner. Sharing of surveillance to bear program. Accessible through state employee logins or private partner accounts. Optics Smart UI allows users to search through and collate footage from a city of tens of millions in just a few simple streets. One of the most effective tools in reducing crime and footage from optics typically serves as key evidence in criminal proceedings. Where it is considered admissible by default, see People v. Irawan. Neat. Net scrubbing refers to the process of scouring all available data posted on the net within a certain time frame and location range for evidence of a crime. interest in the practice spiked when Senator Bancroft positioned it as a key pillar of his party's law and order platform. But pollings indicated voters rarely held a strong opinion on the process. The topic has since faded from public political discourse. Mods, cybernetic implants. Body mods have been seen throughout history and across a wide range of cultures. The modern body modification movement is differentiated by a shift from intrinsic factors, expression or identity, to extrinsic motivators, job opportunities, technological benefits, improvements in physical or mental ability. Historically, mods have been classified based on which section of the user's spinal cord the interfacing occurs at, thoracic, lumbar, or cervical, but this system does not account for mods which interface directly within the human brain. The so-called prevalence of so-called above-the-neck modding in recent years has led to several corporations and medical organizations proposing their own new classification systems, but so far, none of them gained much traction. Can you return mods? Heartbreak Killer. Hey there, it looks like Calver. Civilian Firearms from 2031. 2062 was bought out by Thortech, an acquisition group specializing in security and national defense, now subsidiary of the Lock Coon Defense Corporation. No guns have borne the Calver branding since production halted in 2060. The once iconic brand was briefly revived in 2071 Q2 with a series of video game memorabilia tie-in promotions meant to increase in-game item sales before being discontinued in Q3 2071 for failing to increase in-game item sales. That's fucking hilarious. I'm gonna save again. Let's talk about you. Let's start simple. Something mundane, grounded, rote. I'd like to know more a bit about you first, Carlos. Something like, what line of work are you in? I'm with city engineering. Or I was, or I should be. I thought the police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackout using data he stole from work. My arm, I got it slotted for the job, and, Carlos, I'm gonna need more than that. So what do I know? He works in city engineering, not a desk job. Reyes said he was modded for work and that arm must be in custody at the moment, but based on his shoulder, had to be pretty utilitarian. Doesn't strike me as the type who's enamored with the aesthetics of modding. The young and the restless and the rich swapping in neon and chrome limbs because they like the way it looks. The way it makes other people start looking at them. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. You know, my brother wanted to mod. Really? Really? I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out, a whole career path of promotions and bonuses and the upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present. Test results politely informing him that he's not a viable candidate. That sucks. I think he felt relieved, actually. Seems like it was a weight off his chest. Like he was glad he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense? Yeah, I think it does. I always figured if I'd start at all, I'd start small. A hand or an eye, test the water. Never thought about lobbing my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was enthusiastic. He said, cause of the NCDA, there was financial aid and resources. Of course, that got shit-canned. So now me and every other modder is royally screwed. Couldn't even let me keep the tax credit. The New Citizens with Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed, but I doubt he'd appreciate the distinction at the moment. I worked the tighter spaces, the high-volt environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typically stuff for modders, you know? Speaking freely now, don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep talking. But the right word choice here or there can still make a difference. You work on the canopy, you must be under a lot of pressure. Must be under a lot of pressure now that the subways are cordoned off. Damn straight. And this crap with Long? Once word got out that the case against him was real, every desk job in the chain became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced that internal affairs is going to come knocking if they misplace so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book. Means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving, no room for engineering. Yeah. No patience for screw-ups. He's trying very hard to not look at his shoulder. Why aren't you wearing it with your prosthetic right now, Carlos? Yeah, that. Rejection issues starting last month. A lot of sleepless nights. Rejection? Did the therapy not take? It's not like that. I wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything. Then, do these rejection issues have anything to do with your scars? On the way you're thinking. I'm right-handed. So those cuts on his face are just from shaving? Never thought this go on so long that I'd have to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small, trembling, but then spasms. Just oversensitivity, they said, an easy fix. But the problems got bigger. Couldn't let it get that far. Need to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site. Drop a cutter at the wrong moment and people could get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, turned in my arm, and watched my case get placed at the back of the damn line. Where did you turn it in? Some mass turnaround chop with a waiting list like you wouldn't. Doesn't sound like you're a happy customer. Hell no! I'd found a dozen other clinics with shorter wait times, but as long as I'm renting and not owning, the manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance. That's why I'm sitting here with this expensive-ass stump for a shoulder. Haven't been able to work in weeks. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might still be there when I've got 2 working arms again. Couldn't buy or rent a replacement yourself just in the meantime? I serve at the pleasure of the state. And they've got exclusivity contracts with Hindi all locked up, white knuckle tight. Hindi? How Industries? I recall he's registered with one of their Habilis models. If I took one step on site with uninsured tech, forget the fines. I'd lose the down payment and my arm. I'd never work in the city again. If this was last quarter, maybe I could have worked something out with management, but like I said, no one's sticking their necks out for anyone now that Long's in deep hot shit. You mentioned discomfort. Are you in pain? Pain will come and go. It's the itches that'll kill you. The phantoms come back pretty fast when I don't have anything arm-shaped attached to me. Didn't they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Something the clinics lend out for cases like this? What they gave me was a dead-weight, 3-jointed landfill bait piece of shit. Sorry, it's a very shitty feeling having a part of your body that you know they cut corners on. It fits, it's compatible, technically. I can slot it in and feel on balance again, but the fingers don't even bend and the quick twitch motors are way off. It's like walking around with your arm asleep or dead. So you're wearing it when... you were arrested? No, I wasn't. But I'm pretty sure I saw the police bagging it as evidence, so can't have gotten too far. So Detective Reyes was being quite literal about how he was found. Yeah, the victim's bones, left arm only, because at the time in question he didn't even have a right. No inconsistencies with the story so far. He's opened up about as well as can be expected. But this has all just been a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes the delicate part. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other? Right. Known her since college. We shared a few classes, some mutual friends. Always got along. Eventually we just got together at some point. Guess I never asked her out in the real formal way. Sounds pretty cowardly saying that out loud. Yeah, I'm also thinking that, Spades. Yeah, no, there's a lot of, this guy is being railroaded hard. Diane, she was in genetics. Focused her studies on agriculture. Always takes them a few tries to get used to using past tense. Just finished her post-grad work this year. Got hired right out the gate. Practically headhunted, you believe that? Practically headhunted. Of course she was. Any company'd be lucky to have her, unlike... It's a real-ass job. Paid real-ass... I think this game is going to be very careful about using sprite flips because of the investigative component. Anyway. It's a real-ass job, paid real-ass money, too. So her career was starting to pan out, as yours had fallen into the mother of all slumps. Where was she hired? Pedigree? No, Perigee Laboratories. I say that like the name matters. The whole setup's under Harco's umbrella. Down. The Harvest Corporation grows a third of the soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. One more corporation earns the mega prefix without a little throat cutting, but Harco's about as tame as big business can get. Predictable like the seasons. No one's gonna buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Had she adjusted well to her new job? Yeah, they loved having her there. She never mentioned arguments or disputes, corporate politics getting rough. I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately. But I never got the impression that she... Look, no one I know could do this to her. There's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her. It's a long shot hoping for a disgruntled character from her past to shift blame onto. With no other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. I'll have to disprove their argument entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful. It was? Now, I'd like you to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight. Uh-oh. Start at the beginning and take your time. The details are important. All right, Miss Morgan. I'll try Morgan. When you're ready. We were arguing. We have been arguing a lot lately. Arguing about stupid stuff. I haven't been working, haven't been making money, haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself. But more than that, I was jealous of her. Jealous over nothing. Jealous over goddamn money. The reports say you were arguing around 8 p.m.? 8? Yeah, must have been when we started. We got into it, and I said a lot of things that I shouldn't have. I said one thing that I really, really shouldn't have. Crossed the line. And we both knew it, so I left. You left? Yeah. Walked out the front door. Thought some fresh air might help me cool off. Help me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course, the air wasn't fresh. Just humid. Thick like mud. I was pissing away the time. Diane was... Did you bring your phone with you or any other electronics? No. Kinda stormed off. Didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me. With optics down, traffic and street level cameras won't help him. That leads... Did you go through a checkpoint or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything, cash or credit? No, not even a vending machine. Not even a damn vending machine, huh? May have met my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate. I just wanted quiet at the time. Wanted to wallow in it, really. Sorry if I don't have all the details straight. My head is... But if my exact route helped, the cam's probably... What is it? Optics was what? Can that even happen? And there's no other proof that you were out at the time Diane was killed. Meaning you've got no alibi. This can't. Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't. Carlos, I'm the one person you don't have to try and convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it all out there and see what we've got to work with. Right. Now, you said you left to clear your head. So what made you come back? I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. Didn't know what it was, but it was loud and it scared me, and it came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first, but at some point I must have started running because when I got back I was so out of breath. When I saw that the front door was open, something dropped in my chest and my lungs wouldn't. You live on the first floor. Yeah, first floor apartment, street facing entrance. We were proud of that when we first moved in, like it was some kind of big deal. From the hallway I saw her, but I didn't realize, I never thought that she was. The lights were off, the whole room was a mess. I thought we had been robbed, or she had fallen, or it was broken glass, furniture knocked over. She was, called her name and she didn't move. I checked her pulse and she was still warm. Her blood was warm. I saw the gun. It looked so heavy, but I thought it had to be fake because I didn't want it to be real. Is that why you picked it up? What? Pick it up? I didn't touch that thing. I didn't shoot her, damn it. Doing what I do. You hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies, bad lies especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie. It can be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive. None of this works if he doesn't trust me. Okay. Yep. If your clients knows that you don't know what you're talking about, they'll stop giving you any credit. Luck, poor, student debt, sizable, favorite flavor, poppy. It's cashews, firm beds, worn shoes, airports. Ugh. What a shitty looking arm. As per this model, wow, his abilities is building or repair, but he claims he rarely wore it. 40 business days. Good grief. Phantoms. Pain or discomfort that the brain experiences. Installation on cybernetic icons. Watch what is crash. Mod therapy. Development, manufacturing. We're hiring. Christ. Your prints. It's a fact that your fingerprints were on that gun. What? But I did do this. I wasn't thinking. Carlos. All I'm saying is you picked it up. That's all. Would you believe me if I said I didn't realize it was a gun? That explains how his prints got on the gun. Not in a way that would satisfy the police. Still, if all he did was hold the gun. So stupid. I know what a gun looks like. But seeing it in my home right in front of... You were in shock, Carlos. You still are. The police came in sometime after that. I don't remember much of what they said. Things started moving fast, it seemed like. The rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect. Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you're saying that you two never had a physical fight. What, physical? We never fought like that. Did the police say we did? They assumed as much. Means they also assumed that the room was disheveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos has told me, what else did they assume? What is it? I'd like you to take a look at something for me. The crime scene. Oh. It's an AR model built from data taken as the police entered, so... Right, it's just data, Carlos. No grisly details. Okay. Let me see it. Take your time. Alright, I think I've got it. That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try on focus on what's out of place. Alright. I'll take notes. You just say whatever comes to mind. I don't remember exactly where everything was. Well, the mirror was upright, of course. That clock was still on the wall. The chair got knocked over at some point, and the bed got tossed, the cushions torn, and the urn fell. Other than that... Oh, sorry, that's all that stands out to me. I see. Like so? What's wrong? Something out of place? Carlos, you need to trust your instinct. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up. It's just that, I guess I assumed your notes would be making edits to the AR? Well, I suppose that works too. I didn't mean... I think your drawing was pretty good, considering... I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos. I love this game so much! Right. Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk. Letter? What do you mean? I mean, this letter here, do you recognize it? Because the police are calling it a confession. A confession? But this is just a note to self. Pardon? Look, when we fight, I lose my temper, say things I don't mean to. So this morning I tried to write things down so I'd have a script to stick to. So I could apologize to her instead of just fighting with her. Carlos, you say in the note that you hurt them? That's... I broke her fidget tubbies. Her what? Ahem. Her what? Oh, they're adorable! They're these collectible ceramic character things. They're supposed to be like tactile. Use them as paperweights or as conversation starters. Conversation starters? Here's the thing. This is chapter 0, Rhodey. This came out like a year ago. This is pre-Labubu. As far as I'm aware, I only heard about them like 2 weeks ago. She loves those little things. They're not worth a damn. You can buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her. And I broke them. I mean, I was pissy at the time, but that goddamn piece of shit rental arm, I hardly know where I'm swinging it half the time. Got so angry I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room, that cheap, dusty, worthless... Okay, let's say he did break her Frigiduckies with his replacement arm. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But if the police insist on claiming it's a confession for the Heartbreak killings anyway, couldn't be bothered to sweep them up. I felt so... Alright, Carlos. Thanks for answering my questions. Now I'm going to call the police back in here and I'm going to get this cleared up for you. What? That's it? That's it? Oh, okay. Although before I do that, I do have to ask. What do you know about the Heartbreak Killer? Heartbreak? I mean, that psycho that was trending all month? I mean, as much as anyone, I guess? Haven't been getting out much, but I'm sure everyone's on edge with a guy like that out there. shoots people through the heart, right? The police have kept the victim's appearances far away from any upstanding news sources, unless he was already following the murders. Carlos wouldn't notice any resemblance to his girlfriend. I mean, she was shot in the chest, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? If he's this slow on the uptake, it's gonna be a real shock when those officers walk in here and accuse him of being a serial killer. I'll just have to squash that theory as quickly and definitively as possible. I love whatever Morgan's deal is. Yeah, no, the ceramic shit by the chair is absolutely one of these, like, fidgetubbies. I didn't realize you could smoke in here. Technically, I can smoke wherever I want for a fee. Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! Oh, that was so good. Good thing I'm recording this. There's so many good clips in here. I guess so. Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's on the clock. Right? I'm sure this isn't your first time doing this. No, of course not. It'll be my first homicide defense, though. Oh. Why does everyone think the first time's so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up! I've got relevant experience in other areas. Oh. And, what areas are those? You ever gamble, Carlos? No, ma'am, I never go anywhere near loot boxes. Won't touch the stuff. I meant more like playing cards. Oh. No to that, too. I've actually got pretty terrible luck. Could have fooled me. Well, what I do is a lot like poker, Carlos. Poker's nice because even if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long, you can still win. Which makes things pretty fun. Okay, so, do you have a good poker face? I like to think so. And are you lucky? Only when the stakes are high. And, in this metaphor, we're playing poker and the state's the dealer. If only. No, the state's more like the house. You mean like the house always wins? Yes. They're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there and we're down here. That's why they're the house. So what do we do? Play the cards we're dealt as best we can. Win more hands than we lose. Keep it up and eventually someone will come over and tap the dealer on the shoulder and whisper something in their ear. Then we'll be politely asked to leave. That doesn't sound very triumphant. The house always wins. So our definition of victory is more like, don't lose. Thanks, Morgan. But I guess I was more asking, like, what should I say? Just leave all the talking to me. So that's the strategy. What's up? You know there's a saying about gamblers with strategies? Hold on, I spaced out on reading any of that because I got, like, already? Hold on, let me... Yo, ready to confess yet? Because I already woke up the DA. Already? She must be new. Sorry, I also have something stuck in my throat. The district attorneys have final say on whether or not a case is brought to trial. Only fair since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer simple guilty pleas over long, protracted trials, and they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then you'll have to call them back, because my client is not guilty, and frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here. Right! What she said. You've got a weird sense of humor, counselor. Different generations, I guess. Before my time, kind of thing. I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective. Counselor, we have your client's written confession. His written confession. Let's start there. Okay, we'll be happy to. The thrust of every argument starts with the facts. what's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player at the table. It's pretty simple, Counselor. Real paint-by-numbers stuff. See, we found a note at his apartment with his fingerprints on it, apologizing for how he hurt them all so bad. Now, how are you planning on spinning that? Those are the facts, but I've been building up my hand all night, and I've got the weapons to answer anything they try and throw at me. My client did write that note, and it was an apology, but not for murder. He was apologizing for... Analyze the facts as they're laid out, then review the responses in your hand. Select the card that best answers the argument and place it in the slot on the right. You can mouse over your opponent's portrait for a reminder on what key point you're answering. He was simply apologizing for this. The hell is that? Found myself asking the exact same question. What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene? This diagram of the room is created from data you captured, right? Pure non-GMO augmented reality crime scene data, yeah. What's non-GMO? Not much these days. Oh my god! This pair is so good. I know, right? It's extremely dystopian, but also they have a really good pattern. Notice anything out of place? Yeah, the whole room's full of busted shit. It's a scene of a murder. Full of busted shit, for sure, but I was more referring to the unidentified ceramic debris found in the western side of the room. The hell is that? Ceramic debris, huh? Must be from the vase that got tossed. Actually, that's not possible. Oh, because that vase wasn't damaged. It's not possible for that debris to have come from the vase, because that vase is still pristine. How is that possible? The lady at that garage sale told me it was so old and delicate. Damn it, the one time I try and thrift shop on my own. Well, so what? What does it even matter? The vase doesn't have a scratch on it. Then the debris must be from somewhere else. That debris is from what my client wrote that apology over. You're saying that confession was his apology for not vacuuming? I am, because that pile of rubble is all that remains of the victim's collection of fidget tubbies. I love that the music cue kicked in when he said it correctly. This game rules. This game fucking rules. What he said. Mr. Flat broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident, and this impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scripting out an apology. Can you prove that? We're taking this seriously? As much as I wish we weren't. We're all in agreement that my client wrote that note. And we can plainly see that there's ceramic debris at the crime scene. Now, since it couldn't have come from the vase, it must have come from the collectibles. Simple, right? The hell are you on about? The entire room was trashed, as the arcs clearly shows. Those fidget tubbies must have gotten pulverized during the struggle, too. You really gonna claim he sat down to write an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down? Not a bad train of thought, but I could do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that, and there's proof. Just take a closer look at the rental you took into custody. Huh? One swipe of your fingers should show exactly how devastating it was to the Fickle Buddy ecosystem. She cannot say it correct, and I love it. Whoa, nope, didn't mean to do that. It's fidget tubbies. Whatever. You did take it into custody. I'm sure your text found ceramic debris on it, yes? Now that you mention it. Fine, whatever, he broke them with his arm while he was killing her. Happy? Overjoyed, because even a cheap arm's got an operating system that logged the last time it was worn, right? Right. See, I happened to spot a footnote on the lab report. Said that the rental hadn't been used since the AM. Whose side are you on, old man? It's gotten pretty late, sunshine. I'm just trying to save us all some time where I can. Well, thank you for your service. Well, thank you for your service. Are you seriously buying this crap? Just look at how scrawled, how panicked that note is. You expect me to believe he was upset over a fidget tubby collection? One that hasn't even been graded? I love Reyes so much. She cares so hard. She cares so hard. Setting aside Detective Reyes' surprising depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles. You're correct, they held no real monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over their loss. But so what? So what? After all, that's not panic you're seeing on the page. No, the only reason the note looks that way is because Carlos is right-handed. Yes, I am. Did they not know that? Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something? So the reason why that note looks like Asylum Wall scribbles is just because he had to use his left hand to write it. Tend to think better writing than typing. I need to get used to using my left anyways. Just thought it could be good practice. Taking that into account alongside the ceramics, your slam dunk confession is looking about as watertight as a fishnet. Okay, fine. Forget about the confession. Congratulations, counselor. You've established that your client's remorseless. Now let's get back to the reality of the situation. Here are the facts. We found your client at the scene of the crime, wearing a coat covered in the victim's blood, right next to a big old goddamn gun that so happened to have his fingerprints on it. That's right, that coat is... What, you're gonna claim that it's not his, that he actually wears an extra small? She's trying to bait me in her typical low-key fashion. See, arguments flow, you won't always have the stronger hand. Sometimes the best you can do is hold your tongue and avoid overcommitting. Try to lose as little credit as possible while you wait for a more favorable chance. Hold on, I'm gonna check this real quick. Evidently an acquired taste, that's so funny. Rental. Statement. Oh, that's showing how much credit I have. Got it. She must have something. No sense playing into it. Something you'd like to ask me, detective? Ooh, the glitchiness. I'm just curious. What'll it be next? You can tell me he actually wears an extra small. Oh, justice is blind. Oh, that's sick as hell. Oh. He doesn't wear an XSS. Yeah, no, I'm gonna stay. Oh, it even has the double tap. That's slick. Gee, Carlos, do you? No. Yeah, sure there's no evil twin you've forgotten to mention? No, I'm afraid not. Not even gonna go for a mysterious third party at the scene of the crime? To prove his innocence, I will need to get there eventually, but going there now without hard evidence... I'm gonna... Ooh, fuck. I'm gonna quick save. Oh. Hold on. It's giving me the option this time, though. Yeah, I'm gonna hit stay. I have no evidence of a third person at this time. Damn right you don't. It's clear as day in the arcs. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there that night. So keep dreaming. It's obvious she had something there. She wasn't going to win that hand either way. But at least I didn't overstep and take more damage than I had to. We're not contesting any of that, Detective. My client freely admits to holding that gun. He picked it up in confusion after coming home to find a brutal crime scene. Which was not smart, hey, but not illegal either. And that's all? He had her blood all over his clothes. Yes, he did. Right. Do you have those clothes on hand, by the way? The lab finished with them a while ago. What are you getting at? It'll be easier to show you. Would you mind getting them for me? You know what? Sure. I could use the fresh air. Stinks of bullshit in here anyway. I've never played a Danganronpa either. Like, literally, this is the first game I have played like this. At all. And I know that is probably incredibly fascinating, but also the list of visual novels I've played is really tiny. Mostly because I've been daily driving a Mac since 2005, and nobody wanted to make games compatible for Macs until very recently, and still the list of games that run on Mac is really tiny. So, like, you know, there are things I want to play on, like, there's stuff I have on console, because, yeah, no, this game fucking rules. Like, I definitely, like, hit a high bar. This also explains why my European partners are so insane about this game. I refer to circuits and frequencies as the insane European contention of the Greater Seattle Polycule. Which, yeah, my French boyfriend and my Dutch girlfriend are, you know. Slay the Princess is on the list. No, what's European is the insanity, because frequencies and circuits are insane in a very European way. Slay the Princess is on the list. And the next game I'm playing in Visual Novel Book Club, which is Soul of Sovereignty, GGDG's current game. Both of those are going to have guests, hopefully, probably, and those guests are a couple, both of whom are very insane about different visual novels. What do I need to do to get on the sane European list? Yeah, I know it's Hoot. Like, it's clear from the roadie. Like, that's obvious. What does Astrid need to do to get on the insane European list? BPD, NPD, severe dissociative amnesia and memory loss. You know, stuff like that. Well, then you're on the insane European list. And here I thought the room smelled like... Psst, Morgan. What are you doing? My coat's covered in her blood. I remember that much. So doesn't that, like, make me look really bad? No, you're an insane Canadian. And also all Canadians are insane. There's just different kinds of insanity depending on province or territory. Just relax, Carlos. I'm pretty sure that's impossible. You're innocent. And that means that having more evidence will always help you, not hurt you. Really? Really? Not really. Ooh! 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 That's a screenshot. Ooh! I like this! I like this! Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck. Bad lawyers. People shouldn't count on the truth to come out easy. More often than not, it takes coaxing. What was it that reminded me of? Alright, here it is. One bloodstained jacket, fresh from the lab. So what's your angle? You gonna tell us this is actually just hot sauce? No. That would be silly. She actually thought it over. So what the hell's your point? Hey. Sorry, I just got thrown off by the turn of good fortune. What good fortune? You should thank the detective for bringing you your jacket, Carlos. She's just proven your innocence. My client was arrested wearing this coat. He would have been wearing it at the time of the murder. Has the victim's blood on it, who we all know died when she was shot in the heart. buy a gun that happens to be an old world pre-tagging firearm. And so this coat proves he couldn't have been the shooter. Is there a gas leak in here? In what world does that make any sense? Sense happens to be key here. I just need to draw their attention to what they can... What sense use doesn't matter. Ooh. I'm gonna say smell. Just do me one favor, detective. Tell me what you smell. Smell anything except dried blood. Exactly. The coat smells like blood, but doesn't smell of cigarette. That's what I've been smelling. Yes, Detective London, I was smoking earlier. Could you rejoin the conversation? I've been listening. You want me to smell the jacket? If you would. Let's see. Huh. No gunpowder. What? What about gunpowder? Oh, don't blame yourself for not noticing. This was before your time. You can't be more than a few years older than me. I love that Morgan and Reyes are on the same fucking wavelength. Holy shit, I love this! But not before your partners, it seems. See, gunpowder is weak by today's standard, but it's still volatile stuff. Hard to store, prone to misfiring. And when it goes bang, it leaves behind an awful lot of evidence. The hell is she talking about, London? Modern firearms like the ones we carry use electricity, magnetism, even air pressure or sound waves. They've got more accuracy, more firepower, less recoil, less noise, and they don't leave behind any residue. Gunpowder residue. Talked my ear off about how difficult it is tracking down a gun that doesn't leave digital traces. But a revolver like this one? It'd leave gunpowder on the skin of whoever fired it for days. So then his coat. If you don't trust your noses, you can check the lab reports. I think if they had found any gunpowder on my client or his clothes, they'd have taken the time to highlight it. Well, whatever! That just means he washed off after shooting her, he changed his clothes. That's not impossible, but it would be pretty pointless. Huh? His jacket and his left hand were blood-soaked when your officers found him. Would he really go through all the effort to get rid of something as subtle as gunpowder residue? Just to get the victim's blood all over himself afterwards? In light of these details, I'd like to formally request that you reconsider the charges Mr. Flatt is facing as soon as possible. Whoa. They're faltering now. Should topple over at any moment. The letter was mostly icing on the cake for them. But that gun is all they had to link Carlos to any of the shootings. So if it looks like he never actually fired the gun, I'll admit things were a little dicey there at times. But once I was able to grasp the situation, the smaller pieces fell into place easily enough. Not my cleanest line of work by far, but overall I'd say... Did she get a message? Wait, did they actually manage to find it? You're good. Twisting the truth into knots, making the facts work for you. Thanks, but your luck just ran out. Because the net scrubbers found a cam active at the exact moment of the shooting, and now, I'm staring at a photo of the killer. Wanna bet? Photo of the shooter? If she had that, we wouldn't still be talking. But I doubt she's just pulling this out of her ass. She's got something from the scrubbers. That's a bold bluff for this late in the game, Detective. Especially when we both know that there was an optics blackout during the shooting. Well, that's just it. This isn't from optics. Should have figured she wouldn't make a claim that bold without something to back it up. Feast your eyes on this. Whoa. Okay, the quality is lacking. Yeah. There it is. They managed to find a quarter needle of evidence in a whole city block of haystacks. What are the goddamn chances? No, with the scale their tools operate on, I guess the chances are, as always, in their favor. Alright, this isn't good, but it's... Okay, so the figure in the photo is holding it with their left arm. So, I could even say I got lucky, which means the stakes are... Oh? Well, it's a little bit blurry. Don't look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. Looks like at the time of the shooting, a neighbor was on their phone, probably venting about how crazy the couple across the way was acting. If the phone was on, its camera would be on, and so we managed to get this shot through the window. Yeah, they do clearly have a right arm, which he doesn't. So we managed to get this shot through the window. Where to begin? Far away, unfocused, ultra low resolution, zoomed in, blurred, color shifted, and so compressed it looks like it's from another century. There are tools that could enhance this image any further, and I could count the pixels on one hand. And you could kiss its admissibility in court goodbye. Can't honestly claim that you can identify my client from this image. There's no way in hell you could get this past a judge. Yeah, you're probably right, we couldn't. But I think I know a DA who could. Either way, it doesn't seem like your client's leaving this police station anytime soon. That photo, what the hell is happening to me? Think I know a DA who could? Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence of a left-handed shooter standing in the hallway at the same time the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. Who we know who had their left-hand gun fingerprints all over that gun? You're referring to my client. You think? We've established he wasn't wearing his modded arm at all tonight, so he must have shot with his left. Yes, and we've also established that he's weak with his left side. A left side that has no gunpowder whatsoever. Forensics will never be perfect, counselor. Sometimes you miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get where you're going, you somehow end up dry. But that doesn't mean it didn't rain. All of which is to say, before judge or jury, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test. Carlos is innocent. I know he is. But that photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent. That photo is real. If both are true, then that means the photo doesn't show what it appears to show. So at a loss for words? Never. I'm just confused about one thing. Where was this photo taken from exactly? Exactly. Positional data is only accurate to the nearest public router. If we DAnon the phone's owner and ask them where, why bother with any of that? Ballistics and common sense tell us the perp shot from the room's doorway. The front entrance of the apartment faces to the south. There's a hallway that runs back into the bedroom. We're looking straight at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious that this was taken from across the north window. From the north? This is from the north, and why can't we clearly see the... It's not that complicated. The neighbor who got the shot must live on the other side of the street. So we're looking into the bedroom from the north window. She's wrong. I could seize on the opportunity. So... I'm afraid that's simply not possible, Detective. This photo has to have been taken from the west. What kind of bluff is that supposed to be? The good detectives are misinformed here, and I need to take advantage of it. Time to press the initiative. The hell do you mean this was taken from the west? The autopsy tells us that the victim was shot from the doorway. Your office's ARCS data tells us the precise location of everything in the room at the time they arrived. And now your own photo shows us the exact moment of the shooting. And... now raise the ante on a hand up to the current max. Answer wrong and you'll lose more credit. But answer correctly and bake more credit for trickier hands down the line. And altogether, that tells us that this photo must have been taken through the west window, as long as you consider... That bright clock was on the wall. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this. Well, first I'm gonna... Just one look at the clock in that photo. The clock? What about it? The clock, huh? Seems like London's got an idea. If he's mistaken, I could pounce on it to keep my tempo high. This photo was taken right before the shooting, so... Wait, don't tell me the time of death is wrong! That's a good question, Detective London. But the answer is no. The autopsy, the clock, and the neighbors all agree the time of death was 9 p.m. Right, no mistaking that. So what the hell are you on about? There's a clock on the wall in this photo, analog style, and it reads 9 o'clock. 9 p.m., the time of the shooting. The hell's so special about that? Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time the clock reads, but... Do you remember there being a clock in the room? What? Actually, I don't recall there being a clock. That makes sense. You wouldn't recall seeing a clock. Because when the police secured the scene, the clock had been already knocked onto the floor. And the only clock in that room is in the northeastern corner. My client has informed me that before the crime, it was hung up on the eastern wall. Like so. What the hell is that supposed to be? An artistic rendition. It's, very distinct. If you had information on how the crime scene was before the shooting, why didn't you just add that to the arcs? Show you my hand? Just because discovery law compels us to share info, doesn't mean we have to play fair, detective. Slipped my mind! The important thing is, if that clock was on the eastern wall before the shooting occurred, then this photo must be looking through the western window to see it? Don't start getting ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9 p.m. The same time that this photo was taken of the shooter. But you want to claim the clock still on the eastern wall when it would have been knocked down during the fighting. Gotten your logic backwards, detective. Your precious photo that shows the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And there's one other piece of evidence that proves exactly how the bullets fell. Glass shards? What about them? Nothing much, really. Only that they're on top of the victim's body and not under it. The glass fell on top of the victim's body. That would mean she was dead on the ground before the room got trashed. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trash the room afterwards? It's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's the detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of a struggle at the other crime scenes? Other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those attacks would have been over in a matter of seconds. So what do you think when you saw the mess in the bed? So what did you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom? That it was personal and things had gotten complicated. Shit happens. Shit does happen, detective. But in this case, it seemed there had been a general misconception about the order in which shit happened. So what if the room did get tossed until afterwards? He still shot her. We have a photo right here. And I'm glad you do, detective, because that photo proves my client's innocence. Huh? Proving that it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult and maybe more importantly for all of us, time-consuming. Thanks to your photo, I can instead prove that it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger, because the man in that photo can't possibly be Carlos. Like hell it can't. The glass shards prove the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And we know that until the room was tossed, that clock was on the eastern wall, which means that this photo of the shooter was taken from the west. Back to this shit, it's impossible. The only hallway from the apartment runs from north to south. The only person with prints on that gun is your client, and the only fact that matters is that he used it to murder 6 innocent people. You're a very honest person, detective. Excuse me? That's why you're such a shitty gambler. Played your cards too early. Now I can steal the pot right out from under you. You're right about the hallway's orientation. You're right about the prints. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. But we aren't looking at the hallway in that photo. What? What we're seeing is Ooh. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Let me hit max on that bad boy. Sort of. By the way, do you recall where those glass shards came from? Yeah, sure, they came from a standing mirror. A mirror that, at the time of the shooting, stood across the room from the western window. But then that would mean that from that angle, from that viewpoint, it would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing a shooter with a gun in their left hand. We're seeing a shooter take aim with their right arm. And as we all know, my client hasn't had a working right arm in a number of weeks, and he hasn't worn his rental since this morning. So I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad it was recovered, because it just proved that my client couldn't possibly have committed this crime. That should be the end of it. Except it looks like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. Sunk cost has gotten its teeth in her now. Clawing her up her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat. Hot palms kind of fever. The impotent, irrational fury of losing something you thought was guaranteed yours. But lucky for you, Detective, I'm well versed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes. That's one word for it. Then allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. In summary. Pardon. My client's so-called confession was just a note to self. The police found him in shock, reeling at the death of his girlfriend, and arrested him for being next to a gun he forensically couldn't have fired. After being confronted with these facts, you receive photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting, and instead of utilizing said photo to track down the real killer, you instead tried to claim it depicted my client, a man without the requisite limb, standing in an architecturally impossible hallway. That's... He could have had a backup arm, he could have stolen one! Well, stubbornness can be charming, but this kind of desperation is ugly. It's getting late, it's time to bare my fangs. That's the best you've got? Even a bare bones forensic off the black market would need to be attuned to an individual's nervous system. Hold on, I skipped one. He'd have to bring it into a clinic, which would have left a record on his shoulder OS, a record you won't find. And he'd still have to somehow have gotten rid of it before the police arrived. SOP at the scene of a violent crime calls for full spectrum scanning of the entire building and 100 meters around it minimum. So where, Detective Reyes, did he manage to hide a cybernetic arm from your drones and the time between the shooting and his arrest? Well... Any objections? Detective? God. Damn it! This game fucks. This game fucks severely. Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncuffing me? In light of the evidence, we have no reason to hold you. Now I gotta go call the DA and tell her I made a mistake. Not we made a mistake, huh? Listen, kid, you should know. Detective? Lost my train of thought. But hey, Cherry's a real tiger, and she fought like hell for you. Just make sure you thank her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. Yeah. That's kind of you to say, Detective, but my work is its own reward. Sure. Feel exactly the same, Counselor. What happens now? I'll have to speak to the DA with the DA about the dismissal. There's still some paperwork we'll need to go through, but basically you're free to go. Congrats, you get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact. Yay? But what am I supposed to do? The detectives will continue their investigation. Their investigation to heartbreak, huh? Yes. When the authorities are satisfied with their examination of the body, she'll be handed over to the next of kin. Then you can make funeral arrangements. No, that's not what Diane being gone is bad enough, but a serial killer? It's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore. People die of the flu all the time, but I know what you mean. Can't make sense of it. So what am I supposed to do? Hell if I know. There are some contacts I could give you. Services, professionals, doctors. No, you've done more than enough for me. When I got here, I was too tired to even defend myself, to try and convince them that I didn't. You saved me. Thank you. You're welcome, Carlos, but it's my job to. No, I mean, thank you for not asking. For not asking if I killed her. Oh, Carlos, I didn't need to ask. I knew you were innocent from the start. Of course he was, after all. Yeah, that's what I thought, baby! Let's go! The blood's always different. Heart's always in the same place, easy to find, hard to miss. But the blood's always different. Flowering stain unfurling toward an invisible sun. Perfectly unique bloom, only one for each of us. Rorschach test with singular universal meaning, vitality, at its climax. Bursting forth into a red fractal consisting solely of an infinite, the end. But the comical thud of a body hitting the floor has its own kind of low-brow appeal. Bullet number 606. The gun's empty. It's useless to me now. May as well leave it. Feels like a waste, but whatever. Finding the ammo was almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. Could sell an untagged gun for a fair bit of cash, but cash can't buy you peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised, lady. Moping around in the dark here, must have only been able to see my silhouette. Did she really think I was her boyfriend, back for an encore of that enthralling conversation? Can't ask her now. Hey. Yeah, did you hear that? These old pieces are so goddamn loud. People aren't even familiar enough with the sound anymore to know to run the other way. Probably roused half the neighborhood. I didn't see anything I could use as even a partial suppressor on the way in. Could they really not afford some throw pillows? The other 5 volts in outdoor spaces and small spheres of blind opportunity that the city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Cramped spaces, usually full of trash. But this room, as cheap as it looks, is at least clean. Organized, even. So the corpse adds a certain satisfying contrast. Except there's shit on the floor. By the window, there are broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. It's fine. Just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. Kick over the stupid goddamn mirror. 5 perfect crime scenes, each of them not a speck of evidence, nothing to go on. And for the final shot, there just has to be some pile of shit in the corner, ruining everything? Kick the wall. Something falls from it, probably more tasteless bullshit. Toss over the chair, knock the urn. Tear into the sheets with my frustration and try to savor the shredding. If it can't be clean, I'll just lean into the messy angle. At least it'll be consistent. This was also stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on my humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first 3 went down with single shots? Yes. But so what I'm not made of stone. For that I did start to actively aim for the heart, but... Heartbreak killer? Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? What kind of miserable, lifeless voyeurs would obsess over something that's none of their business? All these threads and breakdowns and the goddamn theory crafting. And all for the heartbreak killer. Sounds like a soap opera villain from a season where the writers were on strike. I feel insulted by the label, but no, that's someone else's name. They came up with it. They spread it. They marketed it. Heartbreak's got nothing to do with me. Just some reclusive, lonely, socially impotent loser who shot 6 people because... Well, I'm sure people will come up with something. They got rejected one too many times or whatever. Yeah, I killed those people because I saw them and I wanted to. I've killed a lot more than just 6. At least the room is thoroughly trashed now. But just I walked away after seeing that mess by the window would have irritated me to no end. Now that doesn't match the MO of the last 5 perfectly. I'll irritate the cops to no end instead. Good riddance, Heartbreak. You enjoyed your 15 minutes in the spotlight. Really savor it. I'm going home. It's weighty tonight. Thick, energized. Heavily foreshadowed summer rain I can feel on every hair. They call this kind of humidity oppressive, but I disagree. The warm tension on your skin. Like in those short moments just after the shower turns off when the steam lingers. Yeah, it's always most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreement to be had. Oppressive things can still be comforting too. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that. But I know I've never felt guilty about any of this. And I walk. Sorry, using my left is still... That's okay, you can just initial in these spots. Took a scenic route home, courtesy of our fine city's sprawling public transportation. Got in a bit after 11 p.m. Had myself a thorough shower, drank a glass of milk, did some stretching. Made sure my phone was on. Time went by evenly. Around 1:40, a posting for public defender work came up. Decent rate since it was so late and so urgent. I had wagered correctly that the boyfriend would have enough sense to ask for a lawyer and enough debt that he'd need to be provided one. All I had to do was stay awake. There wasn't much competition after 1 in the morning. Okay, where else? Here and here. How did I phrase it earlier? Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Why wouldn't I take on a job where I already knew more than the cops? It would have been easy to convince Carlos to plead out. I would have gotten paid the same too. But easy is dangerous. Carlos was, of course, innocent. So his conviction would never be airtight. There would be doubts, questions, appeals. Maybe even fans, depending on his looks. More attention on each cane is crimes, more headaches. Cold case rotting in the very far back of the public's awareness is always preferable to one open and shut in haste. Now, with no more murders matching HK's MO, there won't be any additional public pressure to find a culprit. Now, Heartbreak can just starve to death out of sight and mind like any other fluke in the system. Almost done. Getting involved with the case this intimately does have its risks. Hell, I might have even overdone things here or there. Like lighting up a smoke inside an interrogation room just to make doubly sure I didn't still smell of gunpowder myself. That London fellow seemed more fixated on it than I would have liked. But obviously everything turned out rosy. It's worth it for the finality of it all. Seeing the authorities' failings from the best seat in the house, that's just a bonus. Thanks again, Morgan, for everything. I'm sure Diane is grateful too. Funny. I didn't even know her name. Something the matter? No, sorry, it's just... I was mad when I left the apartment. I know she was too. So when she died... Death was instantaneous, Carlos. I can't imagine she was in any pain. In fact, I can guarantee she was dead before she hit the ground. No, I know, but I just keep thinking that she must have died angry at me. That she must have died hating me. Ooh. To tell you the truth, Carlos, there's something I've been wondering about myself. What is it? Something I noticed in the ARC's data I didn't quite understand. Piece of the puzzle I couldn't fit in anywhere else. But maybe you can make sense of it. What is the... Where did you find that? That pill organizer was found on the victim. She had it grasped in her hand when she died. Obviously, the police added it to the ARCs, but it was quickly ruled irrelevant. Seemed like it contained triprazosone, prescribed to help modders with phantom itches. Small tablets, and those are tricky clasps, too, for a pill organizer. Could be hard to handle with an unsteady hand. No one will ever know what she was feeling when she died. Even if they did, feelings are complicated. You can feel angry, happy, and sad all at the same time. But as far as facts are concerned, it would appear that when she died, what she was doing was setting out your medications for the week. To my eyes, anyway. Aww. Long night. That was too far just now. Practically rubbing it in his face. It's not like I care about his feelings. I doubt I'll ever even see him again. Overstepping like that is pure hubris. Hubris invites a downfall. So why did I even bother? It was the last piece of the puzzle, I suppose. Just need to show more restraint next time. There won't be a next time for heartbreak. The gun's in custody. There's no more bullets left. There won't be a seventh victim. There won't be any more leads to pursue. The media will move on to their next obsession. I'll move on to my next MO. And no one will ever found you. District Attorney Rockford. Sorry, can I try that again? I'm so fried. By all means. Ugh. Counselor Morgan. Morning, noon, or night, you're always so put together. Thank you. I don't get it. How do you sleep at night? Pardon? You do white noise? Aromatherapy? Whatever you're doing, I need to steal it. God. That bag's under my eyes dark enough for the dumpsters. Assistant Attorney, District Attorney Emma Rockford. She's a prosecutor, the lawyer who argues for the state in court trying to prove a defendant's guilt. Despite her sometimes unkempt appearance, she's probably the sharpest person to fill the position in decades. I should know, since I haven't beaten her once. Worse yet, she has the remarkable ability to compartmentalize all that adversarial energy and only bring it out in the courtroom. It's part of what makes her good at her job, and hard for me to read. Should I buy a new mattress? What have they got you doing at this ungodly hour, Emma? Oh, well, actually I'm here for you. Me? Your client was a suspect in the Heartbreak killings. That's my case. Then you must have been relieved finding out that you don't have to go, that you won't have to go to trial against me. No? Why would I be worried about going up against you? It's always the unintended barbs with her. So you're working with those detectives? Yeah, London and the new girl, Reyes. They've been reporting to me in preparation for trial. Preparation for trial? That seems ambitious. I guess they gave you the rundown. They've been doing everything they can, but it's hard to catch a killer who leaves behind so little. It's hard to kill while leaving so little behind. So Reyes told me they had HK in custody and you popped out of bed all excited to run down here? Hardly. Haven't slept in 40 hours. Too much on my mind. So when I heard about a case with a single female victim shot through the heart, yeah, my ears perked up. That's about all. Oh? Carlos Flat, a serial killer? The same serial killer that's outstarted Outsmarted the state for weeks. She's not using his middle name. He was found with the murder weapon, but I can answer that any number of ways. But then I glanced at the report. You glanced at it. No gunpowder residue on him or his clothes. Right. Too remorseful, too apologetic in that note. Whatever it was about. His dominant arm modded. His documented sensitivity issues. Could never made shots that clean. Not without getting close enough to leave scorch marks. Not to mention he's too tall for the ballistics entry angles, and probably too heavy to not leave imprints. She got all that from a glance? But I'm sure a competent lawyer like yourself pointed all that out the minute you walked in here. Of course. Worst part is she's not even being sarcastic. Yeah, of course it couldn't have been him. Long-term relationship, physically imposing, argumentative, so not the type to bottle things up. He didn't match the profile. Profile? Yeah, the... Oh, right, sorry, you probably never heard of it. You know what a goddamn profile is. A profile is a reconstruction of a criminal psychology based on evidence from their crimes. Kind of fallen out of fashion for the last few decades. Not much need to guess about the why when 99 times out of 100 the who is caught on camera. Or before they even leave the house. I've had to find some real fossils and oddballs to get advice on how to go about it. But I think I'm getting the hang of it. So this profiling, it's some kind of investigative technique? Theory is that a crime can tell you something about the nature of the person who committed it. Stabbing, overkill, points to passion, rage, lust. They probably knew their victim. Poisoning guns, meanwhile, suggests that they can't overpower their victims physically. And then there's the things you can assume about nearly all serial offenders. Childhood trauma, prior criminal record, few to no meaningful attachments. There's a lot of recurring themes to their stories. The detective said HK doesn't leave evidence. So how much can his crimes possibly tell you? That he's diligent. Almost perfect. Highly intelligent, painstakingly organized, and with enough criminal connections to get his hands on an untagged firearm. It's rare to see her this animated outside the courtroom. It's almost like she's enjoying herself. Sheltered house cat who's picked up on the scent of a mouse for the first time. Lone wolf, educated, but all her playfully lethal instincts coming to life. Probably overqualified or undervalued. I'm not thrilled about the fact that in that metaphor I would be... Know what I mean? Definitely! Considering the marksmanship, the detective said that HK would have needed insider info on optics. So that does mean heartbreaks. So does that mean heartbreaks in law enforcement? Never in 10 billion years. Oh. Antisocial, independent, despises authority. That'd be like a stallion applying for a job on a merry-go-round. They'd be kicking kids in the head after the first full rotation. That's really funny. Right, that's exactly how I'd put it. Must be some connection to the police, though. Maybe secondary or tertiary? These types can't help but insert themselves. Insert themselves. I don't do anything even resembling that. Wait, if HK is not a cop, how did they know about the blackout timing? Crime meta-statistics analysis. Probably. Pardon? Take the emergency response times from across the city and map them out. Look for brief spikes in delay. Chart out the dips in... Sorry, technical, I know, but all the requisite data is publicly available. With a map, a spreadsheet, and a calculator, anyone could reverse engineer the timing if they wanted to. That is such an unpleasant thought, Emma. Well, at least this heartbreak maniac will slow down now that he's lost his weapon. He didn't lose it. He chose to leave it behind. That tells me he's confident he can do just fine without it. And that makes me even more certain that these aren't his only kills. Were there other shootings with the same MO? No, not that I found. Other victims that fit the description? No. But I'm not overly focused on the victim's appearance anyway. I mean, these six victims all look like each other, but they also look like a lot of people. That's true. Hell, They kind of look like me. Oh! Oh! Fuck! Do they? Sure. What, you don't see it? I hadn't thought about it. Point is, no one can kill that cleanly when it's their first time. Getting things that perfect takes practice. So I know that HK must have had a lot more than 6 occasions to practice, Morgan. That's why I think heartbreak is a misnomer. Got something catchier in mind? I just don't think shooting them in the heart has any particular significance. If anything, it's a testament to their accuracy and their cold-blooded efficiency. The best possible use of 6 untagged bullets. 6 kills, guaranteed, no matter what kind of life support mods they were packing. The real signature isn't the bullets or the gun. It's the perfection. That's hard to wrap your head around. I'm just saying that these 6 murders were just a fluke, a slip-up, a mistake? Exactly, a mistake! They got too clean, too efficient, and now they got the public's attention. It's no wonder they're so pissed. Talking about the crime scene? Yeah, probably threw the detectives for a loop, right? Based on what you said, I don't blame them. Whoever trashed that room doesn't seem like the smooth operator you've been describing. On the contrary, I don't follow. This was the last bullet, their last shot. The other 5 times were perfect. So if anything was out of place this time around, they must have thrown one hell of a temper tantrum. You make them sound like a child. Childish and cowardly and two-faced. Someone who hates to lose almost as much as they love to win. Your profile tell you all that? That? No, that part's just... takes one to know one. So to summarize, you're looking for a cold-blooded, faceless, perfectionist killer who you think has no persistent MO or victim type. In a city with an 8-digit population. Well, good luck! I don't need luck, I only need more information. Well, I'm sure the city would be happy to provide you with more resources. No, Morgan, I mean I need more crime scenes. Oh. Sad truth is, if Heartbreak walked away today, I'd never catch them. Only way my net narrows is if they keep piling up bodies. Not a very fair trade, is it? No, it isn't. Getting screwed over is a given. It's a deal with the devil. Fair enough. Woof. Okay, that rant was pretty morbid and detailed. I need to get out more, or sleep more. Or sleep less, but harder. Think a higher thread count would help? Don't worry about it. I'm always happy to listen to you ramble. It's a lot more pleasant than having to face you in the courtroom. Sorry, but that's the adversarial process. So no hard feelings, yeah? No hard feelings. We're both just doing what we do. I could use a cup of coffee. How about you? Don't tempt me. If you fall asleep face first onto the table, I won't even take a picture. Pfft, okay. Just don't expect this to make a difference next time we're at each other's throats. Heartbreak won't claim any more victims. In 2 weeks, the media will have moved on to the next sensation, and the police will have moved on to cases they actually stand a chance of closing. It's what people do. But Emma is different. She'll set it aside and work a dozen other cases, never bringing it up. But a private corner of that frustratingly sharp mind of hers will continue to whittle away at it. Never finishing, but never quitting either. So I can't afford to take my eyes off of her. As long as that's the case, I might as well try to enjoy the view. Okay, that fucked severely. Holy shit. Let's fucking go. hold on. Is this immediately chapter 1? Which means you're going to be living with my friend for a while. For how long? Sorry, I don't know. There's no need to look that upset over it. My face barely moved. It may as well have been a blatant pout from where I'm sitting. Yeah, like that. This friend of yours, they're trustworthy? Absolutely. In fact, I trust them more than anyone. Hey, come on, it'll be fun. Really? Really. Educational, too. I think you could stand to learn a lot from someone like Morgan. Oh! What? This game fucks! This game fucks so hard! The android, I think, is in chapter 1 because that's the headmate circuit says. You're the smartest person I know, Morgan, when it comes to... Personally, I think it's cool to bring something that flawed into... Wait, why do all these people look kind of the same? Criminal defense attorney, murder, crime scene. I think I can guess what happens next. Never stolen anything that wasn't already compromised. Oh. Idle mind. Ooh, 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 ooh. I fucking love this game. Holy shit, let's go. Results. 2 out of 2 articles, 6 out of 6 profiles, 18 key terms, 17... 33. Congratulations, you finished episode 0 with 33 credits. You've also unlocked concept art and bonus scenarios based on your highest score for episode 0. You also have 33 remaining phone charms and case colors. Neat. I'm gonna just hit the main menu for now, cause I did not take a break in these 3.5 hours. Oh, monorail. Monorail. Okay. Holy shit. Yeah, okay. I have been in this seat for like 3.5 hours. I have not taken a break. And also it's been 3.5 hours. So we'll call it there, folks. Thank you for the first episode of Visual Novel Book Club, where we played a visual novel that fucks so severely and set the bar so high. I think I want to keep using this as a, like, palate cleanser between things. So next week, I think we're still going to move, pardon me, onto, Soul of Sovereignty. And then between Soul of Sovereignty and something else, we'll play episode 1 of this. Especially since details about episode 2 are starting to hit. I have seen, posts, from... God damn it. Fuck. I shouldn't look at chat while I'm doing a spiel. Fuck. Especially since details about episode 2 are starting to hit, because I've seen the devs posting about it and doing a thing of like, you know, we'll reveal details about this character if you like and share this enough. You know, episode 1 is twice as long as episode 2. Cool, good to know. That will be across 2 fucking episodes then, and also next time we'll remember to take breaks. Oh, I just, like, was so fucking compelled. It didn't feel like there was there were some good places to take breaks, but also I have a, like, holy shit, that fucked so hard. That fucked so hard. Oh, this game fucks! This game fucks so hard! Holy shit! I still have to put up the last VOD for Final Fantasy Feast, for Final Fantasy 1. And then I'll put up the VOD for this. I'm also changing my VOD pipeline because DaVinci Resolve is free. And also can just read MKVs, which is what I record in. I don't have to transcode and shit. So, like, yeah. VODs will get caught up on this weekend. And so on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, check your local listings, we'll be starting Final Fantasy II, the much maligned, entry in the pre-disc era. I'm honestly excited to give it a shot. And then on Thursday, we'll be starting Soul of Sovereignty, which has 2 chapters out. We'll figure that out as we go. Anyway, so if you want, you can, check more stuff we do out at FionaFromTheInter.net on Blue Sky, and also our website that I haven't posted on in a while because I don't use a content management system. Every single page, all the tags, it's all hand done because I'm a crazy person. Don't worry about it. And, yeah, like, check here. The YouTube is linked here, but also we're Pleonastic Tautology on YouTube, and that's where the VODs are. But yeah, basically anything you're going to see about me streaming or any other stuff I'm up to, will be on Blue Sky. You might even be able to... We'll keep this between you and me, chat. But there might be some bonus streams of me practicing the piano soon. And by me, I mean June, because come the fuck on. Stick an egg bird in front of piano and just gonna start playing. But there might be some bonus streams of that if I get confident enough to let other people see I'm practicing. And by see, I mean it'll just probably be an audio-only stream. But, you know, we'll see. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining. Feel free to follow, if you really liked it and you want me to have some minor form of income, please feel free to subscribe. If you have Amazon Prime, you can give me your Jassy dollars. I don't like calling them Bezos bucks because he's not the CEO of Amazon anymore. It's Andy Jassy, and I hate that I know that. And I only know that because I live in Seattle, and I know too many people who used to work for or currently work for Amazon. So I unfortunately know who the current CEO of Amazon is. It fucking sucks. Anyway, have a great night, everyone. I'm going to go play some Commander in Meat Space.